Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of the subsection of Callum Smiles Media devoted to all things health. Especially as I try to get this as a more regular sort of episode system, which I think is an interesting turn of phrase, the use of the term regular, because today I want to talk about what I think is the biggest attack on women ever. Now, before you get, you could say, hormonal and upset about this, which is possibly a symptom of the effects of this, please actually do hear me out, listen to it all, and actually do a bit of research into this yourself. Because I want to talk about the pill, the combined oral contraceptive, which was first created in 1957, and I believe, from all the literature and research I've looked into, that this is the biggest attack on women ever. And the pill came out just before the sexual revolution in the 60s, and it's been harming women ever since. I actually think choosing to take this, especially if you know the dangers behind it, is basically self-harm. Now, we've heard a lot about transhumanism ever since the mRNA vaccinations, and if this is the first time you're watching one of these, I am very much what you call anti-vax, but that's for a different video. So when it comes to transhumanism, the pill actually kind of falls under that sort of thing, because it effectively rewrites women. Because what it does is it massively disrupts the endocrine system. So all your hormones are out of balance, and the longer you're on this, the more likely it is to become permanent. And those permanent hormonal changes will literally rewire the brain. For example, one of the things the combined oral contraceptive does is it actually changes what women are attracted to. So we literally work on a sense of smell when it comes to, seeing who is a suitable mate. We don't recognise it, but often women will talk about how good another man smells and things like that. Or you've heard of, when dogs are on heat, male dogs will sniff the behind of the female dog and then go at it like rabbits. So literally across the whole animal kingdom, we work on smell, so things like pheromones. So the pill changes a woman's sense of smell, and I'll talk in a second about how this actually indirectly affects men. But women then tend to go after more feminine males. So how it should be is that women are more attracted to the more masculine male, the provider, the protector, the hunter-gatherer sort of thing. Whereas with this, they're actually, chances are, unattracted to that sort of thing and actually look for the more feminine males. Your Harry Styles of the world. So where's it going with that? So the fact that it changes a sense of smell, one of the things I would definitely say is if you are on the contraceptive pill, you shouldn't be actively looking to find a partner for long term. I mean, I don't really think you should be just looking for that anyway. We're all human. But you shouldn't be looking for a partner because of that, because it's been well documented that when women have come off of the pill, they're actually no longer attracted to the person they're with because their sense of smell has returned to what it was. Sometimes this isn't necessarily the case because they've been on it that long, the sense of smell is permanently changed. And the same works the other way. So if you're not on the pill and you start dating, and then with that person you then go on the pill, you can actually find yourself unattracted to them because your sense of smell has changed. Now, that's not the only thing the contraceptive pill affects. It can affect things like cortisol production. So, it inhibits the use of cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. Now, quite often you think cortisol, and if you know it's the stress hormone, you think, oh, that might be a good thing because no stress hormone, no stress. That's incorrect. So you can still get stressed. However, the stress hormone is there for your body to process it, which is actually why one of the reasons why ashwagandha is such a good supplement in your diet, because what it does is that actually then helps your body to process the cortisol. So the cortisol is produced to process the stress, and the ashwagandha can be taken to process the cortisol, and thus making you much happier. It's why it's like known as nature's antidepressant. So yes, I am a user of supplements, mainly because our soils are that badly destroyed. We are actually struggling to get the important things in our diet that we need, which is why, and you know, yes, they are an affiliate program, and yes, I do make a bit of money out of it, but I'm not actually trying to push these things because I can make money out of it. One, I'm doing it because I care about you, I care about me, I care about just society. You know, if society is better, then my life gets better. That's the real currency I want to work in. But these are some of the things I use. So this is my ashwagandha. I like to put this in my coffee, and I blend it with my bulletproof coffee, which is really nice. Because this is that thing, as I mentioned earlier, that helps us to, basically process cortisol. And here is the zinc I use. Zinc with copper. And you can get all of these from the link below, but please watch the rest of the video. It can affect thyroid functions, so, which then affects your energy systems. And the thyroid, you need selenium and iodine to make thyroxine, and when women actually become menopausal, it's effectively because the thyroid's breaking down. It's not getting the things it needs, and it's starting to fall apart. It's like an old car. Whereas actually some old cars, if you take good care of them, they become classics, and they can run for a very, very long time. In Japan, until recent years, where in the cities they moved towards more Western diets, they didn't even have a word in Japanese for the menopause, because women were getting pregnant at such a late age, because their bodies were working much better, and biologically they were actually younger than people in the West. Long term, it can really affect fertility. So, if later down the line you want to get pregnant, there is the longer you are on this, the chances are it can make you infertile, unfortunately. And if you're watching this now and you're learning about this for the first time, you've been on it for years, you should get off it now, and you shouldn't just think, oh, I've been on it so long, then, oh, well, what's the point? Well, you never know. It might not be too late. And if anything, it's definitely not too late, because, as I said earlier, this is self-harm. Because this is messing up your endocrine system, which is messing up your body, which is basically shortening your lifespan and just making your life a bit more shit. So it affects all hormones, and this is just like some of the things that this affects. This is like just how big of a deal this is. But the problem is that this is being pushed. I remember with my previous partner, she had a teenage daughter, and in schools they are encouraging girls to take this. And one of the things I found a problem with, my previous work with Rebel News, we'd talk about how we are sexualizing children this day and age. And they talk about how, if you want to become a different gender, we won't tell your parents. Well, the same is being said, and as you can see here, and this is on the NHS website, that they will not tell your parents if you're going to be taking this. So basically, the state is trying to have an influence on your child's sexual activity, which to me is a predatory thing. If they're like, oh, well, here's what you can have for your sex life, but we're not going to tell your parents, even though you're effectively a child. Another problem I have with the NHS on this is on that same page, higher up, it talks about how it has a low chance of cervical cancer. Whereas you scroll down the page, and then it says one of the risks are cervical cancer. Now, even with the World Health Organization, the combined oral contraceptive is a recognized carcinogen. So let's go back again to when I said it is self-harm. Well, you're actively taking a recognized carcinogen. What it does is it increases the estrogen levels. Now, a healthy woman should actually have 2 to 3 times more testosterone than estrogen. Now, this increases estrogen, which is one of the reasons why I take zinc. Again, I like my cold baths. That's another thing women can do when it comes to trying to rebalance their hormones and increase their testosterone levels. They can do the cold water immersion. In women, I believe the testosterone is made in the ovaries, and in men, it's in the testicles. So that is all I have today on the combined oral contraceptive, because I like to keep these in like 10 minutes or less, because I don't want to really over bombard you with information, and I really want you to go and look at these things yourself. Women, I don't say this because I'm a patriarchal man. I say this because I care. And unfortunately, our health system doesn't. Our doctors, I think a lot of them go into it for the right reasons, but they are then very much brainwashed in what they can tell you and what they should tell you. And unfortunately, they're taught to sell drugs rather than improve health. And if you look around the world these days, the more and more drugs that are getting into our system, the unhealthier we are becoming. And actually, I distill my drinking water, and you can find the links of all the things that I use, in the bottom. I distill and then remineralize my drinking water because one of the things found in drinking water supplies now in the UK is birth control, because there's that much of it being used. So if you found this informative, if you liked it, please do share it, subscribe it, and the women in your life that you care about. No, not even just the women that you care about. The women, just tell them, look into this. Please stop taking it. There are so many better methods when it comes to contraception, such as barrier contraception, which is condoms. There are condoms for women. There's the diaphragm. There's condoms for men. There are so many other things that you can do to prevent an unwanted pregnancy. I don't condone abortion, but this is one of the things that you really shouldn't be doing, and it doesn't even always work. So you might be self-harming for no reason whatsoever. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Again, please like, share, subscribe. If you've got any comments or questions, please get in touch, and I try and answer as many as possible. Cheers.